Jack.
Yes, sir.
You left that.
Thank you. Oh, I know who I am. But thank you.
You got that thing down. Locked down. Oh, good to see everybody left.
What'd you say?
I said it was good to see everybody left.
If you can hear voices,
Everybody
not
right?
everybody did.
I'm always glad when they leave.
Huh?
I get to read to the best. If you lock that down, I can't move it.
Oh, I'll get it. Hopefully without dropping my saxophone.
No. It's long like blue.
All right.
Are we ready, Freddie?
Go.
All right. Just because you steal something doesn't mean you own it. This is still Indian country, and you do live on a lonely land. Like our mothers, fathers, do we become our parents, those who are wounded themselves, humanity sheared away? Do we become those when more than one set of parents, a combo of dysfunctional people are involved? Do we become lame, dysfunctional? Alcoholics to alcoholics. Begetting child becomes parent. That should be our national motto. House of the lame, dysfunctional, at the corner of hate and anger, located off genocidal highway, turn off next to Joe's gun shop, next to remembering white clay liquor stores, selling in some towns, places, anybody who can get the money up on the counter. Shooting galleries become new venues of art and empires, trigger figures, emaciated models looking with faraway looks. Do we become racist as our parents who become fearful hollow? If filled with love, wisdom, respect, will we be filled with it? How will we get back to that garden before religion's befouled? Did we bawl ourselves into the point of killing gardens? Rains, floods, as forest disappears, cut down. Mountains turned into inverted mountains for mother's gold. Oh yeah, I'm dancing to old blues. I say I'm dancing. The dance of death. Reasons to love. Almost daily, get up, if not depressed, soon will, turning on news, walking out the door. Depressed, not as in feeling blue, though that's there, but depressed in most significant, meaningful ways. In Rome, humanity on ugly crosses, ready for lighting ways for rich to see, while in USA we have mass killings daily for our horrified viewing pleasures. Prisons to help with labor costs, new plantations keeping people quiet, out of sight, out of mind. Travel warnings given not to come to USA, too risky. USA's violence on full display. Always been some blind with blinders to help blindless, but will never help lead the blind. Humanity in chains, camps, separations, while others live in insular lives where they will be no others allowed in starring roles. My love, believing in balance, tries as daily trials. She keeps it somewhere in balance. Time has a habit of fucking with human heads. My love is human. She doesn't know what next evolutionary step, if any, or will be, which is the reason to love my love. In some people's homes, everything is turning to gold, while as property owners owns filth, rat-infested property. Sound familiar? while some kind of homos, not in a sexual but sapiens, are most afraid or perceived as being homo. Love the one you wants you. Love the ones you're with. And finally, blues as in music, color, velvet. Blues of hearts, sadness, joy. Blues as our stories filled with tragedies, happiness, defeats, repeats. Blues. Blues, motherlode of USA's music, born out of traditions. Africa spilled on USA's soil, thrown in the four directions, travels Mother's Airways, coming back home to Africa. James Brown influences as Hugh Masekela blows back jazz to USA, where it's born. Delta gut-wrenching, hard-driving Chicago blues via Texas Freddie King shakes foundations of USA. Blues, mothers of folk, jazz, rhythm and blues, rock and roll. Blues as black struggles, but also joys, relationships. Yes, blues as joy. Blues coming from other countries, adding to what is here, enriching our lives. Blues as. Mr. Erdman. Amen.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron? Is there an Aaron here? Aaron. A-A-R-O-N.
Aaron? Aaron?
Aaron left.
I guess not.
Okay. Maggie.
Maggie? Ah! Are you new here? Oh, she's new! Let me know! Maggie!
I want a poem.
Oh, just get really close. Really, yeah. There you go. Sorry about that.
I want a poem. I like a poem that don't fuck too much with punctuation. A poem that spits out its syntax and sucks it back through a straw. I want a poem that rocks a pink pussy hat, shouts down white supremacy in a soft southern drawl. I need a poem that arms all its citizens with linguistic artillery that aims straight for the heart and gets stuck in your craw. Meteor showers. Tonight, the dead, my dead, are everywhere. They dazzle my eyes, then streak across my vision as they fall. They have not yet realized their own demise, but they will. One day the dead, my dead, will learn what it means to be dead and will be still. They will be dead still. But tonight they are living metaphors, meteors that wink and wobble in the sky, then hurtle down where I am waiting with open arms. This one's apologies to T.S. Eliot and J. Alfred Prufrock. Let us go then, you and I, while the river is full of E. coli, like a patient defecating on a table. Let us go through smog-impacted streets, the malicious tweets of one man and one shot cheap retorts made between stints at golf resorts. Tweets that pump out like a repetitious rap song of hideous intent to lead us to an apocalyptic chaos. Oh, don't just say, God damn it. Let us try and save our planet. On the screen, the pundits pounce and bait, hoping for a new Watergate. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Brandon.
Brandon. All right, Brandon.
Oh, wow.
You're not new, are you? You're not new.
Oh, last week he was new.
You've been here before.
Last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, first time.
First time. Oh, that's right. So that's what I was remembering. I was remembering.
There you go.
Fabulous memory.
Fabulous.
Well, you know, and I have to comment on the birthday thing, and that was I don't know if you know that, but birthdays are actually good for you. Did you know that?
No.
The more you have, the longer you live. It's true. It's true. So, in keeping with the theme of a poem that is shorter than its title, I went a slightly different way, and this piece I'd like to I call 60 Hours a Week. 11:15 in the morning. Thud. Blue Honda with a crumpled hood. Usual parking space. Walking. Steps with purpose and energetic intent. The sound of the convenience store door chime. A friendly wave. I grab your favorite before you announce it. Marlboro Lights in the box. Small can of Diet Coke. 2 corn dogs from the case. You get the day's newspaper, caring not for the TV guide or the thick Sunday classifieds. You're on your way to your daily suicide, a 12-hour workday, every day. You can't stay away. My fingers glide across the tin key of a register. We were too cheap for UPC labels or barcode scanners. A few moments of banter about things that don't matter. A credit card made of more debt than plastic. The ring of a transaction made magic. Whirring of a dot matrix printer. Tragic. I agree by the terms of the credit card issuer statement to pay the financial institution for all goods and services rendered. Transaction accepted. I hand you a pen. You scribble. Not your name, but your word. I offer you a bag, but you decline every time. Hungry hands collect the things as you go on your way. My shift ends before yours. I wonder if your nights are as fulfilling as your days.
Brett, and then Tom.
Oh, Brett Brett. Brett Brinson is the mini of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Give that round of there. Sorry.
Long Beach.
7? 7.
Huh?
How much time?
8.
Oh, 8.
8. Okay. Just want to be respectful of that.
That's all right.
Okay. Yes, Long Beach State.
Thank you.
Okay. A poem whose title is longer than the actual poem itself, / a commentary on Berkeley bike riders. Bicycle rider. It is not mandatory that you wear spandex.
Seems that way.
The underworld. For Hercules' last labor of 12, he had to descend down to the underworld to grab the Cerberus dog, 3-headed, with Hades. He first had to ask permission from the Greek god to take the dog back to the world of the living. Hades' only request was, take him, but don't hurt him. And so after a titanic wrestling match, he grabbed on to the mutt and brought it out for all to see, thus completing his 12 labors, or his 12 steps for repentance. At many points, someone goes into the underworld and they're not sure if they're gonna be able to come back out. Like Pinocchio's daring journey after making himself into a jackass, like Harry Potter going down to face the basilisk, There's many times where we walk down into what is known as our personal hell, and we don't know when and if we're coming back up. Why? Because hell is not a joke. For many people, it is a daily struggle. It is something that you feel in the bones, and it can hold your sense of being hostage. The underworld is not just a metaphor some days. It's the person who literally doesn't know where they're going to sleep tonight. It's the individual who is told, you can't vote because you weren't born here. It's the person who knows that just by stroke of many different life events, they're probably not going to have a very high wage in an occupation. And thus, where they can go and where they can call their own is going to be even more limited as the years go on. The underworld is something that comes into people's blood, walks through their veins, and says, your very existence is in question. You should be afraid of the monsters that lie on this path. And so I sit there and I listen to many different stories. Again, as you've heard before, they're 17 and 18-year-olds. They're trying to figure out their world and the next step of where they're going. And sometimes I have to look at them square in the eye and say, I don't know where you're going. Some days I don't know where I've been. Not that old, but old enough to know pain and know that sometimes roads don't have directions. They just burn. They burn your skin. They burn your heart. They burn your mind in the sense that you can't place any sort of value on them. What is the value of going down into an underworld that just tears you apart piece by piece? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we're just there. Just imagine existing in that place of darkness for so long. How the hell do you get out of it? I don't know. But I do know this. There have been many points in my life where my personal underworld was almost my undoing. And all it took was one voice to say, come back. Come back and be reborn again. Come back and, like the harvest in the fall, grow outward and move into the world of light. Because even if you need to hear this only one more time, it doesn't hurt for someone to stop their day and say, you are light. You are going to make it through this. Do I know that? No. But if that's what you need to hear today, if that's the only thing you need to hear today to ease your suffering even this much, hell, I'll say that 1,000 times over. I'll burn it into my arm. I will carve it each day to say, I look in that mirror, I'm in the underworld, but I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm okay. This is coming at me, but I'm okay. Are you really okay? Maybe. But that's not the point, I said to this one kid a couple of months ago. The point is that you are worthy. Just you being yourself. And if you have to walk that dark road through that underworld, I'll do it with you. And sometimes that's all we need, is to know that there's another human being around. Thank you.
Many of the evening. Brad Benson.
Okay, Tom Stanton.
Tom Stanton.
He's not here.
Oh, he didn't get it. Okay, he didn't come.
Well,
All right. So that leads us to Sharon Scott Kish. Is that right?
'tis true.
And then we got Rob, and then light on this page here. Okay, we got VOL. Looks like I'm not sure how to
Who's VOL?
Well, I can't read that.
I think they're gone.
Valerie, I think
Valeria?
that's the gentleman who just went to the.
Okay, and then we got
About-
Karen, and then we got, I think I saw Marco come in.
Yes, Marco came through.
Okay, all right, go ahead there, dear.
Okay.
Sorry.
Monday we lost a great poet.
Yes.
We lost Toni Morrison.
Yeah.
She's 88 years old. Many great things said about her in the news, and one of her editors said that she always wrote with a pencil, and the only confrontations they ever had was her use of a comma. She was very adamant about where she wanted commas.
Now, watch out for those comments.
And this is a quote from her. Had I lived the life that the state planned for me from the beginning, I would have lived and died in somebody else's kitchen or somebody else's land and never written a word. That knowledge is bone deep and it informs everything I do.
And for the title, should be longer than the poem.
Lady,
Okay.
who came
Title.
up with that?
Rob.
I know, I'm just saying.
The title is, Who Are They? What Do They Want? And Why Are They Here? And the poem is Mankind Seeking Justice. And back to Kansas City.
All right.
And this is called Crutches. Curtis was a handsome young man, and all the young girls had an eye for him. Smooth dancer, and he could get any girl he wanted. They would stand and they would wait. They would giggle and they would smile. If he danced with him, they went home all night, sweet dreams. Being an only child, there wasn't a thing he couldn't get. Most of the guys thought he was the coolest person, especially since he was one of the first his age to get a car. Boys just loved cruising, window down, whistling at girls. His father, Dennis, was known all over the East Side, having a good business, and he loved to show it. Men's clubs, fraternity man, there he was. Nat came to Kansas City from Georgia, and he met his future bride, Harriet. Harriet loved to dance, and that's where they met. She was short, dark, steamy, and had a great waist and a big booty. She loved him, and she loved the position that it gave her. There she was. She had a dressmaker. She had a housekeeper. She also belonged to all of the clubs. And they loved this boy. But what was so strange about them was there was a distance. She had her own bedroom, and she fixed it up very nicely. Nothing was ever said. But the housekeeper, Lucille, knew something was wrong because she had seen this before. Either she did not want another baby, or she had caught him messing around. So time comes, and the boy goes away to school. He's getting ready to go. And they wish him well, and his father wants him to be a dentist. So bad he wants him to be a dentist that when the kid was born, he put his name, Junior, on the door. Well, he wasn't so sure he wanted to be a dentist, but he went away to school. And he came back, Christmas time. Everybody comes back. All the kids get together. And there he is with his buddies, and the invitations go out. And there are almost 100 invitations. And nothing is left to chance. Parties, invitations, flowers, food, bartenders, and there we are. And Isabel is watching over. Isabel, the housekeeper. And she's seen this before, and she knows something is wrong. So, Curtis and his buddies carry on as usual, cruising girls, and here they come. Christmas, New Year's Eve, big party. And the party is there. The rooms are decorated. There's food, and drink. A knock on the door. Who could this be? Almost everyone is here. Well, it seems as though the dentist's receptionist brother is at the door, and he's not looking real happy. Could I see the doctor? Sure. He comes. Voices get very loud. I'm telling you, you've got to stop messing with my sister. Why, young man, I know nothing of what you speak. Yes, you do. And I'm sick of it, and she's heartbroken. So his wife comes out. What seems to be the matter? He has been visiting Velma's house, and we all know what Velma's house is. And she looks at him and she says, well, all I know is every man that comes out of there comes out with a big dose of the clap. So, he says, I want to talk to him because my sister has had the clap 4 times, and I know that's where she got it. And I know she's carrying on with him. My good man, I have no idea what you're talking about. The hell you don't. And if you want to step outside, we can talk about this further. Well, there's no need for this. Everyone is looking, and she shoos everyone away. Okay, and she comes to me and she says, you know what? I'm sick of this. I've been sick of this. My doctor is sick of it. You know what? There ain't enough penicillin in Kansas City for you and Velma's whorehouse, and I want you to stay in that bedroom and leave me alone. So, he stays downstairs. Everybody's watching. They leave one by one. The guys go into his den, and they're all laughing, and each one that goes in, they have a shot. So finally, time to go. Lights out, everybody's gone. He's had a little bit too much cognac. So he stumbles up the steps, and there she stands at the top of the steps. Hands on hips. He sees her, she surprises him, he falls backwards, down the stairs. Uh-oh, he sprained his ankle. She goes in her room and closes the door. 2 days later, he's seen walking down the street on crutches. The guys all thought she kicked him down, and the women hoped that she did.
All right then, Rob.
There you go.
The well-known and only, the renowned. The renowned founder of the San Francisco Columbus Society, actually.
Ignore that man.
I try to, but it's no use.
All right. This first poem, I have to blame this on Dan Brady.
No.
He did a piece at La Promenade, and it prompted me to write a poem on the same theme. Here we go. This is called 5 Minutes, or Relativity for Two, or the Open Mic Blues. In sex, criminally brief. In poems, torture, sans relief. 5 minutes. And this song is, this is not a Sacred Ground song. This is a cabaret song. But I have to do it because it's David Erdreich's fault.
Blame it on the bossa nova.
Not
Blame it on the bossa nova.
he was in a conversation with someone, and he referred to me in passing, oh, here's the guy who wrote a song about his willy. And I smiled and nodded my head, and then about an hour later, I said to myself, wait a minute, I never wrote a song about my willy. And then, 24 hours later, I said, wait a minute, I never wrote a song about my willy. So,
Oh, Willie?
this is for Mr. Erdreich, for the inspiration. This is called The Dong Song. There's a dangling part of me, like a branch on a tree or the neck of a ukulele. There's a dangling part of me. Lots of folk have dongers, nearly 1 out of every 2. Some have an extra donger. It's called diphalia. It's true. Some folk adopt a donger, though they do come with a man. Some prefer a fake donger, close at hand in the nightstand. There are billions of dongers in this world so silly. Let me tell you about one. Let me tell you about this Willie. The treasure between my thighs is close to average size. 1/4 inch shorter, not 6 inches, just 5 3/4. Everybody say, "Aww." Girth-wise, it might be a prize, though maybe size don't count. But I feel pride in this Willie wide, an extra 1/2 inch amount. Everybody say, "Yeehaw!" Yeehaw! Oh. This skin flute was mutilated, mental trauma, physical pain. I was 1 day old when they chopped the tip. All those nerve endings down the drain. Ouch. This phallus once had fungus, something called molluscum, but no permanent STD. Everybody say, yippee! Yippee! There's a teeny weeny blemish called a blocked sebaceous gland, and a beautiful blonde bush, the color of ocean sand. This Willie is a grower, that's grower, not shower. In an Arctic landscape, I shrivel like a baby grape. This donger doesn't like to be alone. That's the moral in the end. Dongers are only happy when they look up and see a friend. A friend. Thank you, David.
Oh, did you put your... Yes. Yeah, is the title of that shorter or longer?
Longer than Karen the Land again, and we got Marco Hartz over there, for crap's sake.
Oh my goodness. What a thing to come after.
Well, you know, there's the old saying about cleaning the palate, you know.
Which is the palate cleanser? I don't know. I wrote this about an hour just before I came, because of I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. Because okay. You might have you may have missed it being here, but you probably didn't. I mean, it happened before Sacred Ground started. But that was the ICE raid in Mississippi. 680 people taken.
How many?
680.
Wow.
From a poultry business. I mean, not that I'm so excited about poultry businesses, but really, really sad. Anyway, so that's what I wrote. He watched his mother loaded onto a bus in Mississippi with nearly 700 other immigrants, or suspected immigrants, perhaps pending asylum, perhaps even citizens, packing chicken, rounded up like cattle, wrists tied in plastic, as one might hobble horses' feet, loaded onto buses without notice of where their loved ones might find them, incarcerated in buses without charge, without one phone call, without exercising rights of habeas corpus. Even immigrants have the right to be charged and released if not found culpable of crime. 1 hour ago today, August 7th, 2019, the largest raid in any city in this country, the largest raid by ICE, loaded 680 people onto buses, like sheep or goats or the chicken they packed. An hour ago, an hour before our sitting president left for El Paso, where, as you know, about 30 people were killed on Monday by someone wanting to destroy Mexicans. Our president, who speaks of immigrants as coming from shithole countries, unworthy to share space with those of Northern European ancestry. Our president, who overrides law and moral imperatives to separate families and place children in cages and wage war on immigrants, forced to leave their own countries due to our own policies. A young boy watches with his father as his mother is loaded like the chicken she packs onto a bus. Destination unknown, while he wonders why they have not come for him and his father and where his mother is going. That's all.
Karen. What I would like to see is the long line of people waiting to get those jobs. Anyway, Marco?
Well, that was what I said. Where are we gonna get our chicken now?
Yeah, well, you know. Hello, Marco Harms.
Thanks a lot. I know how you guys know how you grow an eggplant?
How?
First you get some eggs. Ah, what do you want for them? You get some eggs.
And then you plant them.
Thank you very much. That's it. See? That's it. Now we're talking. Now we're talking, not just walking. So this is, you know, she just said our sitting president. So what came to mind was our shitting president.
He does that too.
Yeah, I'm just I'm praying that he will continue to eat the junk food that he seems so enamored of. Though he has the best chefs in the world at his disposal. I hope he disposes himself forthwith. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, that be a lesson to him, I tell you. And as for pence, he can do as the same hence.
Repent?
Henceforth, with his pence and without his pence, whatever the hell he wants.
Half pence.
Half pence.
Pence
That's
is-
a half pence, is he? I'm trying to make a spectacle of myself. Excuse me. Here I am. Thank you very much. Man, our shitty president. So I wrote this. I didn't know I was writing this about Toni Morrison because I wrote it before she passed. And a wonderful American institution. And I believe she wrote the book Beloved, and then Oprah Winfrey was in the movie. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. Nobel Prize in Literature.
Yeah.
And a Pulitzer.
And just. So anyway, if I could find it real quick here, is this it? No, but so I could tell a joke in between, but you know, oh, mercy on me.
Want me to tell a joke?
Go, please do.
George W. Bush.
Thank you very much. We never thought we'd be nostalgic for his ass. I still not, but you know, it could get worse, and it did. Damn it, it did. See, this is what I
What's
do
the
to
difference between
myself.
George W. Bush and a bag of shit, the bag?
Thank you. And so you know what
But
happened
you can
when,
change those to Trump jokes, you know.
when the hummingbird, why he was humming, right? Because he forgot the lyrics.
You forgot the lyrics?
This is the curse of the writer. We have the cursive writer over here. This is the curse of the writer if he can't find his own poem that he marks so lovely. And, you know, oh, for crying out
The
loud.
curse of the bookmark.
Yeah, the curse, I'm the mark, and this
Or
is my
lack
book.
thereof.
Yeah. How about this?
That's a
This-
good one.
Yeah, read that one.
Just say no to tobacco and yes to cannabis. I have that written there. Jumped into my here. I'll read. I think it goes into. Jumped into my sloppy jalopy. This is not for Tony because I didn't find it. But this is jumped into my sloppy jalopy. Walked into my favorite thrift shoppy. Purchased a chased my face all over the place. Nearly. What? Oh yeah, gangly, gorgeous skater looked at me. Roller skater looked at me. He said, "See you later." Never knew her. Couldn't love her. Hate her. Merely met the mayor at the Panhandle Playground party dedicated to a new, better, bigger, brighter place for children to play. Saw my friend who is the main maintenance man for the Panhandle, excused himself while he schmoozed himself around the mayor. That gardening man, let's see. That gardening maintenance man sure is a hard-working player. I got a free cup of coffee with almond milk and a good pair of gardening gloves. I feel so free and fortunate to live in the city where I can walk up on a positive party almost constantly. You ever find that to be the case? Okay, I'll try, if I have another moment here, I'll try to find this poem. It's about elephants. I'm so prepared, it's scary.
Yeah.
I like the hat.
Oh, thank you. I got that at the Goodwill too, same Goodwill. Really? A lot of good stuff there. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Is this it? That's my prayer. That's it. I think I read that one. I'll just read this one again, and then I'll read the other one. Oh, here it is. Elegant There's his elephant expression. Elegant as an elephant, egressing and trumpeting, singing its thing, while some damned ignorant tyrant tries to trophy the remaining few into extinction. Still, these magnificent mammals of distinction will walk on the grave of he who counts it brave to just talk. These beauteous beasts will mourn their dead, while knaves find it noble to trade ivory for bread. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Curtis, right here to close us out. This gentleman here. Oh, wait. Oh, come on up. Wait, what's your name?
Tony Alderondo.
Oh!
Yeah, featuring next week.
Oh, yeah, you're featuring. But you didn't sign in.
I did. I'm at the bottom. Tony Alderondo. Thanks, sir.
It's on there, remember, because I called him.
Oh! No, wait a minute.
He was in the bathroom.
No.
Tony.
Oh, you're down here. You weren't up where the numbers were. So you're here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
There you go, Tony.
coming to the stage, Tony Alderondo.
Where are you going to be featuring?
Featuring here next week.
Here next week.
Yeah, if you enjoy this, tell a friend. If you don't, tell an enemy. I'll be here next week.
Okay.
We are poets. We're at sacred grounds. We're not that hard to find. We'll massage your temples, touch your hearts, and masturbate your mind. We are poets.
Yeah.
We can take pretty words, put them in a poem, and plant a mental seed. Or we can take shitty words when we're filled with rage, put them on a page, and make it bleed. We are poets. We can put words together describing an aroma and make you think that page was scented. We are poets. The reason the exclamation point was invented. We write, recite, and perform. We never conform. It's the way we poets know damn well we were born. Pushed out, performing and crying since birth, our hearts already broken and torn. But we as poets, we can take pieces of broken words and turn them into spoken words and give a broken heart a fresh new start.
Yeah.
Take a young boy's broken dreams and mend them with spoken seams. We are poets, blessed and filled with words. We create with words, relate with words, transform and relocate with words. We say things like 5 times 5 divided by pi equals the number of rainbow stars in the sky. And have you ask, why?
Man.
It's simple mathematics times dramatics factored into a poetical third eye. And the answer in the back of your mind's book is even simpler. We are poets. Ay, ay, ay. Love making, keyboard breaking, erratic poets. We can make a pen, make love to paper, and make it come. Make words intoxicate your mind like a strong Puerto Rican rum. We are poets. From our hearts, the words flow through our tongues, mouths, and lips. The words magically know where to go. In our heads, the poets of the dead are awoken. We speak from our hearts with the voice of the broken. We are poets, this much we know. We give birth to words, touch Mother Earth through words, and at open mics open our mouths and pour out our hearts with words. We write, then rewrite, then double check the last rewrite, because we know the last rewrite is the one that has to be right. We share our breath with words, and we will write and recite till our death with words. We are poets. Thank you.
All right.
Who am I? Who are you? Do I know me? Do you know you? Do any of us even really want to know? Or are we just afraid? Afraid of the truth. Some say the truth can really hurt, others say the truth will set you free. Whatever that means. Who am I? Am I the weak father who walked out on his wife, gave up on life, looked his little girl in the eye and said, goodbye? Who am I? Am I the bastard, delinquent child my mama couldn't handle? The good boy gone bad, the bad man gone mad? A strung out dope fiend in a rush to reach the pearly gate? Am I Catholic, Baptist, gay, or am I straight? Who am I? Will I find out too late? Am I high? Am I low? Or just some guy you call bro? Yo, yo, as if I was John Doe. I have a name too, you know. And is it true? Am I the illegitimate son of a Puerto Rican hoe? I don't think so. Who am I? Where am I to go? Am I a part of the new status quo with a new revelation? And what shall be my occupation? Who am I? Can anyone save me? Or if I reach out my hands for help, will you just enslave me? Who am I? Thank you.
Wow! All right. I'm sorry I misunderstood that. Where you wrote this, I couldn't know. Did you ever read?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that I already goofed things up. And now the curse of Brad is closing us out. Thank you. All right, good job. Good job, good job. Drive carefully, live carefully, don't get caught.
Right, I'll be careful. I promise.
All right.
All right, well, I guess you know why he's going to be the feature next week.
That's right.
Hey, pretty fucking great.
All right.
Gonna be a rockin'.
All right. Will you, this is something I wrote when my resident rump took whatever it is he took. Will you be throwing pearls before this swine? Some of our greatest musicians, poets, won't be heard from, or dancers, painters, work seen. For one, just too damn early in the morning. For them, fame, fortune will have to start afternoon. Here's to your fame, fortune. For some, fame, fortune is everything. Others do it because of elation, euphoria. If fame, fortune arrive, they are benefits, not the goal. Others do it for if they didn't, they would die or slowly vanish. Then there are those who need to write, speak their truth, experiences, grievances, love, joys, conclusions that never are. Some because they believe it's their legacy. Yet others, it's all the above with variations of themes. Though it must be said, there are those whose work will almost never be published when perceived too controversial, political, profane. We will need all of you. We've seen variations of the themes before us. As art is in life, life is in art. You really should have seen this coming. The day of Rump King Demagogue is here. In our empire, we get two for the price of one. Nehru, Caligula. He buys big paintings of himself. We may soon see marble statues of him gilded in gold. Not as he is, but as a god. If we do nothing to resist, we may be kissing our own rights and rumps goodbye. Hail the rump! They will be throwing pearls before this swine. All right, this is a call of action, another old piece that never happened because I haven't seen it happen yet. I'm going to call for action again. The funeral. Rump, 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 pa, pa, pa. Repeat. This will sound throughout streets of San Francisco. In front, funeral cortege drawn by a black horse represents where artists once would have walked. Behind cortege, drum corps taps, rappings of rump, rump, rump as the bass band plays the funeral dirge. This is the funeral in the city that gave us beat poets refuge, where hipsters came to celebrate their beats, bridging the 50s into the 60s, where jazz, blues, rock, poetry, authors, cartoonists, comedy, theater joined alongside for civil, gay, native free speech and rights to experiment. All came for a brief moment. when there are those who are not only want to talk the talk, but walk it as well. These are places needed to be sanctified. We live on a lonely land. In this, there is no hesitation. Time to bring street theater back. This funeral procession begins in North Beach, traces the arts as it travels through the city, in places like Chinatown, Haight, Fillmore, Castro, Soma, the Mission, and all other destinations. Encourage those on the street to join. It's time to throw off, "Oh, you can't do that" attitude. There's enough talent. Sitting by brings us nothing. Bring life back to our city. Just because those with money think that they can own us, chase us away with impunity, is over. If you want it to be. Art in all its forms will survive above, below ground. As the young black man said to me without triteness, you gotta work with what you got. Tell them that instead of this funeral, we want a renewal, a rebirth of solidarity, who will clearly point to all of us that it will take a village to raise her and her coalition. Art is dead. Long live art. And finally, the wars are scars. Usa's wars scars everything, for every wound a scar. Child and mother lives between warring sides. Usan cares less about their survival as guns flash, bullets fly. Usa is born in war, will die in war. Oh, tell me how you hate war, but we'll go there in a heartbeat, heartbeat. At war with worlds as well as itself. Usa's violence never peaceful. Usa brought us the foulest of slavery, fought a civil war that never really ended. No longer cotton plantations, new slave masters run prison streets. USA forgets Native people are still here, remaining separate nations from USA. Out of sight, out of mind, except when you want them to do ceremony, prayers, but won't recognize their sovereignty or treaties. Most assume when meeting Native people speak Spanish or that Sikhs are Muslims is really quite tiresome. USA, you've been a little punk brat throwing temper tantrums, a sexist, racist, homophobic rapist of the two-legged flora fauna. You genocide for profit. USA, you're not the only bully on the block, just one of the big ones. Two-legged breed many bullies. Have we not seen today, many, many days ago, over and over and over? USA, scars of heart, mind, soul are not healed or reconciled, but disfigured, mutilated. There will be no love, sadness when you go. Only regret that you took the road of bully, destroyers of worlds, instead of peacemonger. Mr. Earnhardt.
All right, so I'm going to take care of these door prizes here.
Hey, Rick, hey, Dan, can I make a real brief announcement first?
Yeah, hurry up.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, Haight-Ashbury Music's closing. It's gone. So if you want to get some guitar strings or guitars or anything, get the best prices you can. You better get them. The signs are already up, so they're not open until tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
Wow.
Closing?
Haight-Ashbury Music.
The Haight-Ashbury Clinic. I mean, what's next?
I think, well, Goodwill's closing in North Beach too. So
Okay, yeah.
So Goodwill.
Wow.
What is it?
Goodwill. You were
All
just
right.
talking about
Goodwill
it.
closing.
I gotta go. I'm expecting a call. Thank you.
You. You're the first one.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So any of these prizes are yours. Number 25. What a man. So any of these things, and Yeah, you can take that. And don't forget you can take that. Who's number 3?
Thank you.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're. Brett Peter. Keynote for Brett. Okay, we got keynote, Brett. All right, that takes care of the keynotes. Keynotes. 22.
22 is, yeah, let's do, it says AD.
Let me see. See that? Oh, that person's absent. He
Okay,
left.
all right.
How about 7?
7 is, Tony, yeah, we're going back.
Is he here?
See the movie Blue Note.
Tommy?
About the Blue Note record.
Oh, yeah?
So Tommy to go?
I have to deal with my son's dog.
All right. Or breathing hard.
Thank you.
It's an old joke.
I know, Rob's available. Just help push hard.
So we have those or these, whichever you wanted, you got that. And you got this little musical instrument, but you gotta clean it. I mean, you know. Ooh, the mini, we got a mini. All right, and then 15.
15 is Maggie.
Maggie?
Is new.
Oh shit, I think she went. Okay. 21.
21 is Rob.
Sorry, but you gotta clean it. A little, a quart of water. If you put like a quart container, maybe 2 tablespoons of bleach. You soak it overnight, and then whatever else you want to do. But that's the key.
And then it melts.
In bleach?
Two tablespoons of bleach in a quart of water is the solution. You can use salt, but then you have then you risk.
Always at least 2 to 1.